Now, voting is underway in Austria in a general election in which the far right has surged ahead by tapping into concerns about migration. The Freedom Party has pledged to create what it calls Fortress Austria and prevent migrants from entering. They are pulling ahead of the Conservative Party, but could be left out of government if other parties refuse to join them in the coalition, repeating a trend seen in other recent European elections.
In Austria, the effects of migration are probably nowhere as apparent as they are in the town of Traiskirchen, some 30 kilometers from the capital Vienna. Here, at the reception center, asylum seekers spend their first weeks in Austria. This Sunday, voters will choose a new parliament for Austria, where migration equally moves and divides people.
What's the most important topic? I'm from Traiskirchen, and the most important issues are foreigners, crime, and food prices.
Not everyone should be allowed into the country. By that, I mean the refugees, those who come normally, those who need help. That's fine.
Migration has no effect on my voting decision because we are coping well with the reception center in Traiskirchen.
In Vienna, political scientist Sylvia Kritzinger says that migration and security are important topics for many voters, not just in Austria, but across Europe.
Well, Austria is no exception in this case because we see it all over Europe in the sense that migration is really becoming a very salient topic for a large amount of voters. So therefore, migration for a certain voter, for certain voting groups is definitely an important topic that they will consider when voting.
Kritzinger says there is one party that owns the topic in Austria like no other, the far-right Freedom Party, FPÖ. They propagate an Austria First policy. In the city center, party leader Herbert Kickl says migrants who do not abide by the rules should be deported.
It's simply not understandable that we have to protect our people from those who are coming here to seek protection. Something isn't right with the system anymore. And that's why we finally need remigration. I don't know why the word is supposed to be so evil.
That controversial term, remigration, is classified by the Austrian State Security Service as right-wing extremist, even though Kickl's FPÖ has been leading the opinion polls for many months. However, Karl Nehammer of the Conservative People's Party ÖVP has been catching up in the opinion polls in recent days. In the face of a tight final sprint, the current chancellor explains to his supporters what he stands for.
We are the politics of the centre, against radicalism. We want stability instead of chaos. The most essential for the future and future challenges is we do not want to live from problems, but we want to solve them instead.
While it is for the Austrians to choose in which direction they want their country to go, the new chancellor will need to find coalition partners to form a government.
Let's get more from Julia Partheymüller, a political scientist from the Vienna Center for Electoral Research. Hello, Julia. Welcome to the program. Now, according to polls, the far-right Freedom Party, FPÖ, is expected to get the best result ever. How have they managed to gather so much support?
So the main driver of the vote for the far right is usually the issue of immigration, concerns about cultural identity. And there's also some socioeconomic factors that are a bit less clear, but a general sense of crisis, economic decline. I think these are the main factors that motivate people to vote for this party.
Right. And clearly a lot of people are getting closer and closer to them. This far-right party has been an important player in Austrian politics for a very long time. How does it compare with other far-right parties in Europe?
I would say the FPÖ has a quite classical far-right program, being in strong opposition, fierce opposition to immigration. I think that is the core that unites all the far-right parties across Europe. In terms of economic policies, interestingly, the platform is actually quite close to the platform of the People's Party, so of the Conservative Party. So it's not necessarily a left-leaning platform. It's more a conservative economic platform, but combined with this very fierce opposition to immigration.
Right. As you've touched on earlier, the FPÖ is advocating for remigration. That's a concept that the far right in Germany uses too. Why is it so controversial?
So the term of remigration sparked a lot of outcry in the German discourse because in particular it was associated with deportations of national citizens. And so people who have maybe a migration background but who have been here for a considerable amount of time and who are citizens. And this idea of taking measures to remove people who have a right to live in a country, that was a bit of a novelty and a new provocation by the far right. In Austria, this term is mentioned in the manifesto by the Freedom Party, but they didn't speak a lot about it. And in general, the manifesto seemed a bit stricter, while the campaign was a bit softer, maybe appealing to more centrist voters.
Right. So, as things stand, based on the polls, it doesn't look like any party will get an outright majority. But are other parties in Austria willing to form a coalition government with the far-right Freedom Party?
So there is some ambiguity. So the Social Democrats have been maybe clearest out ruling any kind of collaboration in government with the FPÖ. So they have been very clear about this. The People's Party, so the Austrian Christian Democrats, they have been less clear about this. So they said there are reasonable people inside the Freedom Party, but their current chairman, Herbert Kickl, he would be a radicalized figure, and that they would not want to collaborate with him. And so there's a bit of ambiguity here, and it is a bit unclear how this will turn out after the election.
Right, I guess we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Before you go, the ongoing war in Ukraine has become a central issue for the FPÖ, who have been vocal in basically they want to end support to Ukraine and also stop sanctions against Russia. How worried should Ukraine and the rest of Europe be if they come to power?
I think they do not have to be very worried. Austria is a neutral country. It is not a member of NATO. It has always taken a very reserved stance in aiding Ukraine, just a bit of humanitarian aid, but they have not been involved so much. So it's true that the FPÖ has a pro-Russian stance and would want to end the support for Ukraine probably, but it seems rather unlikely that they will have a lot of influence on these decisions either.
Okay. Julia Partheymüller from the Vienna Center for Electoral Research. Thank you very much.
Thank you.